Hello again, this is News Today. Now, today is Nelson Mandela International Day. The day was declared in November 2009 by the United Nations General Assembly in recognition of the former South African president's contribution to the culture of peace and freedom. So join News as we find out from some members of the academia whether Nelson Mandela could perhaps be the last of Africa's iconic leaders.
He had a vision. He set up a goal and made a mission towards it. That is to say, I'm setting the example and leave the scene. He did just that. After a first term in office, he said, I've set the platform. Somebody else should continue. We really have such leadership in Africa. And I believe his demeanor as a president, his stature as a leader, his system of governance is worthy of emulation for all African leaders. Today, a leader may emerge. Tomorrow, a bad leader emerges. Even in the Bible, you have it. So I wouldn't think that he's the last. I can say that he's currently about the last that we have seen in the century. But who knows? Good leaders, transformational leaders, are likely to emerge again.
We are told by the good book that prophets are sent to generations. Every generation has its own challenge. And out of these challenges, you have leaders who come out naturally and lead the people out of darkness. He is a unique president or leader of his time. Other leaders have played their role. For instance, take the president of Tanzania, who gave all the support that the ANC needed to be able to fight apartheid.
I really cannot tell you right now who is going to be the most transformational leader of Africa. I don't see it yet. Maybe Percy is not born yet. But I'm looking forward to a great transformational leader of Africa, because that's one of the biggest problems facing Africa: leadership and governance.
Well, now, Member of Parliament for Ifutu constituency, Alexander Penyomakin, says Ghanaian politicians must begin to be agents of change and think of the welfare of citizens. He was contributing to discussion on Mandela Day on the AIM show.
It is important to take a clear stand, which will be a departure from the past, where it is business as usual, continuous politics, populist, ideologies, and just trying to please the masses, playing to the gallery, and where there are problems, we do blame game. If really we want to focus and give a new direction to our leadership, we must look at some long-term policy decisions that would benefit the people. I mean, if we continue to pretend things are right and things are not, if we continue to pretend we have the people at heart and we know we don't, the reality would be that one day the people will tell us in the face that we are a failure, and that we must not allow to happen. The generality of Ghanaians don't really think that politicians in Ghana today really care about them.
They don't. Really.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I feel it on the streets on daily basis. People will talk to you when it gets to credibility, trust. They think that, oh, these people are a kind of people. So I am using this day to urge all of us on both sides of the political aisle, those of us we are now coming up, that we should be agents of change. Give some hope to the people who vote for us. They will vote for us, all right, but at the back of their minds, these people, I don't trust them. That is why they may even want to take money from you when it comes to voting. That is why they will tell you that, look, if you don't do this, we will also not vote for you, or will not even vote at all, because they know that it is just one-off opportunity, they won't get it again. So it's a new beginning. I mean, if really we want to follow the virtues of Mandela and create the enabling environment for our country and Africa, so that the paradise we crave for, we would have it right here.
Well, on the same program, Member of Parliament for Wilsa North, also Deputy Minister for the Interior, James Agalga, is hopeful the new crop of African leaders will change development on the continent.
Whilst Mandela was out of office, he continued to play the role of an African statesman. Everywhere he went, he was hailed. He continued to preach peace. He continued to preach unity. He was never vindictive. And I think that that is a legacy Mandela has left behind, and today South Africa is what it is. Everybody wants to go to South Africa. It's about the most developed country in Africa. I mean, if Mandela had been vindictive, all the gains would have been brought to naught. And so the setting aside of 18th July as Mandela Day, for me, is very timely. It is a welcome gesture that everybody must embrace. The question, of course, clearly has answers. Mandela's example is a shining one which ought to be emulated. When I look around us, I can see a crop of, new leaders emerging on our political landscape who clearly believes in some of the virtues that Mandela clearly espoused whilst he was alive, and of course in leadership. They are not too eager to cling on to power at all costs. We see them all around us. We, of course, can also talk about leaders who are selfless. They want to work for their countries. It is not a part of them and their strategy to amass wealth at the expense of the ordinary people that they govern. That is a clear, shining example that ought to be emulated. And Mandela clearly stood for some of those things. But of course, if you also look around us, there are those leaders who also don't espouse some of the virtues, some of the good things that Nelson Mandela chalked in his lifetime. I mean, we still have a few dictators around us, and I clearly talked about that fact in Africa. Some of our leaders have simply been in power for too long. Fortunately for us as a country, we all agreed in 1992 that we're going to limit the tenure of office of our presidents, and so you cannot accuse our modern generation, of leaders in this country of hanging on too long in power, because we clearly have a constitutional limitation. You can stand for the high office of president for just 2 terms, the aggregate of which is 8 years in office. We saw that under President Rawlings, we saw that under President Kufuor, and that is the order which has been established, the constitutional order. And so I think that Ghana is not doing badly, in that regard.
Away from that, Minister of Finance Setekwe on Thursday defended his ministry's decision to hold off tax resources from the various statutory funds, explaining that paying off the arrears could trigger more crippling problems for the already ailing economy. Meanwhile, Deputy Interior Minister James Agalga, who was on the AM show Friday, reiterated the decline in revenue of some 1.3 billion Ghana cedis from commodity exports is partly responsible for the non-payment of the statutory funds.
In recent times, it has been extremely difficult for us as a country to fulfill our obligations under the relevant statutes that set up those funds. The reasons are well known to Ghanaians by now. It is not as if Mr. Setekwe, the finance minister, or the government takes delight in not paying the statutory funds. We are confronted with genuine economic challenges, and we have had occasion to talk about the reasons, the causative factors for that account for the situation we find ourselves in. But if you like, in order to refresh the memories of Ghanaians, we will rehash some of the challenges, the difficulties that we have encountered over the period. And I cannot do that without mentioning the fall in the prices on the world market of our major commodities. He knows that. Cocoa, gold, our major two export commodities have fallen. And the fall has been very sharp. And whether you like it or not, when you have your major two export commodities fall in terms of their pricing on the world market to the extent that you lose foreign exchange in the tune of 1.3 billion in an economy such as ours, definitely you'd have a problem. You have a challenge on your hand. That is a fact. And that partly is to account for our inability to meet our obligations so far as those statutory funds are concerned.
New Patriotic Party activist Richard Nima, who secured a court order directing government to pay all Get Fund arrears, is considering a stringent action to get government to pay the money. But now the finance minister says if they had paid this money, the nation would have gone bankrupt. Richard Nima has joined me over the telephone. We'll get a quick reaction to this. Hello, Richard.
Hi.
Richard, what do you make of the response we got from the finance minister about the fact that his explanation for the non-payment into the statutory funds?
For me, it's embarrassing. I'm surprised that the finance minister of a country like Ghana would suggest that this country would be bankrupt if we meet our statutory obligations. First and foremost, let me state categorically clear that the finance minister is in contempt of the court if he is implying that the money will not be paid. The court has ordered that the payment should be done, and I expect him to obey the court. But if he goes onto the floor of parliament and tells Ghanaians that if he does that, this country will go bankrupt, he's telling the court he's not going to pay. And on my return, myself and my legal team will sit down and look at the line of action. Obviously, we would have to consider bringing contempt charges against him as a person and the ministry. And then, going forward, I would ensure that the monies are paid. And so I will take whatever step there is within my power constitutionally to ensure that the monies are paid. In the first place, I think the finance minister's refusal to make these payments is the very reason why we as a country are on our knees. Because if the money is collected, if you look at all the statutory payments and the laws governing them, the Get Fund and the NHIF, all of them indicate that within 30 days of collection of the fund, the minister should have the money lodged into the accounts of these institutions. We are talking about 1 year. The least is 8 months that the monies have been collected and not given to these bodies. Now, how do you expect about 10 million people who access your health, the health sector, a year, to access that health sector if the monies that is from the Senate and the VAT collected have not been pumped into the sector? You are starving these sectors of growth. You come to education. It's one of the biggest sectors of this economy. You have collected the money, and you are not pumping it into these areas, and you are keeping the money. What for? Where is the money that sector has collected over the past 2 years? What exactly has he put those monies into? Because I am aware that when they want to do every single construction project, the physical projects they've been all over, their argument as a government is not to use the people's funds. So they go and collect loans abroad. So if you're collecting those loans to do those projects, and you are collecting these statutory funds and you are keeping them, is it in an account to do what with it? Or you are keeping it to do something? It just beats my mind. We are where we are because he has not paid it. So it's not the other way around. I don't know how giving money owed to these institutions will rather cripple the economy. How else can an economy be crippled than starving the most important sectors of that economy of the needed funds?
Richard, thank you very much for your time. Richard Nima is an NPP youth activist. We'll move away from that. Health facilities in the Akachi North District of the Volta region are desperately in need of medical doctors to achieve efficient and quality healthcare delivery. The district has only one clinic located at Avedakpa, the capital, and a few CHIPS facilities. As regional correspondent Komlado reports, all the facilities in the district do not have a single medical doctor or midwife.
According to the district chief executive, James Gunu, the only two midwives who were working at the health facility retired 3 months ago and are yet to be replaced. He lamented bitterly about the situation, attributing it to lack of patriotism on the part of graduates who refused postings to the rural areas. He pleaded with the Ghana Health Services to, as a matter of urgency, provide the district with some doctors.
They have come to complement our effort as a district and for that matter government, what we are doing. Health delivery is brought to the doorstep of our people. We appreciate their coming. They came, they've treated children, pregnant women, disabled persons, and I'm most grateful to them. And I'm also making an appeal to them to make it at least twice every year.
Meanwhile, to complement healthcare delivery efforts, the Assembly, in conjunction with the Disaster Voluntary Organization of Ghana, organized a 5-day medical outreach to screen patients. It involved 10 medical students and 2 doctors from Temple University College, United States of America, supported by officials from DVOG. The team set up mobile clinics at Avivo Agomo and Ayed Dokpa and screened over 500 patients free of charge. Leader of the team, Dr. Morgan Oakland, noted the team was happy to help with healthcare delivery in the area. She stated a greater portion of pregnant women and children screened had malaria.
Treated many people for malaria. Mostly we've been treating pregnant women and children for malaria. Some other parts of the population we've been treating. We've seen people who are very sick, 2 people who are a little bit sick and we think it's malaria. We've seen hypertension, a lot of hypertension, and then some heart problems, heart palpitations like arrhythmias, and different types of angina.
The DCE later hosted a send-off soiree for them and in appreciation for their gesture, presented them with some kente fabrics. Komlado's report for Joy News.
Let's go to northern Ghana now. The bulk oil storage and transportation depot at Bolgatanga in the Upper East region has not been in operation for the last 4 days due to ongoing upgrading works and other managerial arrangements. This came to light at a media briefing organized by management of the depot at Bolgatanga, from where Albert Sori sent in this report.
The Tanga depot of the Bulk Oil Storage and Transportation Company Limited, BOST, was built to complement the work of the Bupe depot in the northern region in 7 petroleum products to the 3 northern regions, part of the Brongahafo region, as well as markets in Burkina Faso, Togo, Mali and Niamey. However, the depot has not been supplying petroleum products to these markets for at least the last 4 years. Manager of the Bolgatanga depot explained why.
This has to do with an upgrading system that we are undertaking now. And so we want to say that in no time this upgrading of our system will be done. And as soon as it's done, operations will kickstart and Bolga depot will bounce back again.
Corporate Communications Manager Salifu Nata Champon said, despite the challenges, the company through its Bupe depot has still been serving the local market in the Upper East region and other markets that the Bolgatanga depot should have been serving. According to management, all should be set for the Bolgatanga depot to begin operations once again by year ending. Albert Sori for this report from Bolgatanga, Upper East region.
I tell you what's trending in business when I return. Don't go away. Welcome to the business news segment here on News Today. Do you know Parliament is given the approval for cocoa boats to go ahead and raise $2 billion from some banks next month? The funds will be used to purchase cocoa beans from farmers in the country from October. Analysts say since the price of the bean has risen from on the world market, local farmers are likely to get some really good price for their beans. Government is currently paying farmers 212 cedis for every 64 kilos of bags or kilos of beans that is bought. Meanwhile, Parliament has also waived any taxes and duties on the $2 billion trade facility for cocoa board. On the other hand, organized labor has joined horse to condemn the signing of the Economic Partnership Agreement with the European Union. The labor unions also maintains the economy is headed for doom if the agreement is ratified, as the demerits on the economy far outweighs the merits.
The decision of the West African heads of state at the 45th Ordinary Session in Accra to approve the EPA has been met with stiff opposition from several civil society groups. The latest to add its voice is organized labor, who were promised by government on Midday that it will not sign the EPA in its current form. The labor unions are, however, disappointed government has approved the signing of the EPA without a said review.
We are told reliably that there has not been any significant change in what it means. They've just gone ahead to do it. We acknowledge that they have been under pressure by the European Union for a long time. So finally the European Union has succeeded in getting our presidents against their wish to sign those documents. So if it is the form that we saw it that has been signed, then we repeat that it's quite inimical to the gains of our countries. The demerits of the agreements far outweighs the merits. The few exports asked me what large or what variety of exports do we have, in the sense that the challenges it will pose to us far outweighs the interest that has been put on.
He wants Parliament to demonstrate leadership by rejecting the agreement.
The TUC has its voice in condemning this situation, because our governments know the consequences of signing these agreements. Yet they've been coerced, as I said, by the European Union to do so. And we would want to use this forum to call on Parliament. We rarely call on our elected representatives in Parliament to demonstrate due leadership when these inimical agreements are presented to Parliament for ratification. If they are presented, we expect Parliament to rise up to the occasion and say, no, what we have done is not good. So generally what we want to say that the TUC is quite unhappy. We are quite sad that our governments have gone to ahead to sign up this agreement in spite of all the issues that we raise.
Organized labor still stand by their position that the EPA will destroy the local industry, render many jobless, and further worsen the difficulties Ghanaians are currently facing. Abigail Adumakwenchi for Joy News.
Now, former president of the Ghana Real Estate Developers Association, Dr. Alex Treneboa, has cited hold-and-buy dealers for the acute shortage of cement in Accra. He says cement dealers are holding on to the products in anticipation of further price increases. Estate developers have lamented the shortage of cement in Accra, a situation that has stalled building projects in the capital. The shortage, which has persisted for about 3 weeks now, has also caused the price of the products to shoot up. 50 kilograms of cement sold at 28 cedis a few weeks ago now sells at 35 cedis. Let's talk about
Well, good afternoon. Let's talk some sports now on News Today. And Kumasi Asante Kotoko have reportedly signed Bekum Chelsea striker Obed Owusu as negotiations over Jackson Owusu remains unconclusive. The Porcupine Warriors want to fortify their squad ahead of the new season and have moved swiftly to tie the striker down to a long-term deal. Reports have claimed the Kumasi-based side will cough up 60,000 Ghana cedis for the services of the impressive attacker. Brekum Chelsea manager Odru Safo has confirmed the deal for Obed has been completed, but are waiting to formalize Jackson's move to the Kumasi-based club. Kotoko are keen to augment their squad as they are likely to lose several key players ahead of their title defense next season. So from Kumasi Asante Kotoko straight to goalkeeper Razaki Brima, and he has been promoted into the first team of Cordoba, which means he will be playing in the Spanish top flight in the coming season. The 27-year-old only joined the club in January, where he was made to work with the reserve side, who were in danger of getting relegated from the Spanish third tier. So Brima's vital contribution helped the Caliphs escape relegation in Group 4 of Spain's third-tier league. He has now been rewarded for his good form exhibited while with the reserve side, with a promotion into the first team, who have secured promotion to La Liga. This means the Ghana international, who has already started pre-season with the side, stands a chance of keeping the post for Cordoba against some of the best players in the world who plays in the Spanish top flight. So let's talk some transfer news now. In Ghanaian midfielder Bright Adair has joined Italian third-tier side Ascoli on a permanent transfer from Parma for an undisclosed fee. The 20-year-old former Ghana Youth International spent last season on 2 loan spells at Goreka and Gubia respectively. Ascoli see the defensive midfielder as a key component as they stage a fight back to Serie B. The club have been bought by Canadian-Italian businessman whose dream is to see the team return to the second-tier league next season. Adai moved to Parma in 2009 after winning the FIFA Under-20 World Youth Championship with the Black Satellites in Egypt. So we still talk some more transfer news, and now to Richmond Boachi Adam, and he has signed a 4-year contract with Atalanta after the Serie A club required 50% of his economic right from Genoa. Italian champions Juventus equally co-owned the player after refusing to sell their rights to Atalanta. The Bianconeri believe the 20-year-old has the potential to become one of the best strikers in the world. Boachi Adam on Thursday, that's yesterday, agreed personal terms with Atalanta in the presence of his agent Oliver Arthur after flying out of Accra the previous day. He spent last season in Spain, where he ended the season as Elche's best player and top scorer with 7 goals in all competitions. So more Ghanaian players on the move. First was Derek Boateng moving from Fulham to Rayo Vallecano. Now we've got Parma, we've got Richmond Boachi Adam moving from Juventus to Atalanta, and also Bright Adair making a move there. So good for the Ghanaian players making a move in the summer transfer window. Hope to see Christian Achu, the likes of Mike Leeson, or trying to make a move from their respective clubs. Now we still do some more stories here, and Africa's performance in the World Cup varied. While some teams have been praised by football specialists and stars, some teams were a total disappointment for the continent. Africa's best performers in this World Cup were there for their teams and made a difference, from the goalkeepers, that's Mbohi, who plays for Algeria, and Vincent Inyama for Nigeria, to forwards like Gervinho, Slimani Musa, and Asamoah Gyan. Here is the top list, and for the top list performance according to FIFA ranking. And the first player on the African continent that really impressed at this year's World Cup was Vincent Inyama, who plays for Nigeria. The second was Islam Slimani for Algeria. Asamoah Gyan came third. He scored 2 goals for the Black Stars. And Serge Aurier, that's the Ivorian right back, and he's expected to make a move to Arsenal. And Mbohi was imposed for Algeria. He also did very well, made some nice and decisive saves for Algeria as well. Yaya came Seth. Andrea Ayew from Ghana was 7th. Gervinho from Ivory Coast 8th, and Emmanuel Emenike from Nigeria came 9th, and the 10th player was Ahmed Musa, who plays for Nigeria. Now, Germany right back and captain Philipp Lahm has made the surprise decision to retire from international football after his country's victory at the 2014 World Cup, according to German newspaper Bild. The 30-year-old, who also captains Bayern Munich, won 113 caps for his country in a glittering career, but has made the decision to focus on club football after his side's superb achievements in Brazil this summer. A player who will no doubt go down as one of the greats for German national team. Lahm can now celebrate the fact that his final match in the famous white shirt was that ended in lifting the most coveted prize in the game. Lahm also has a runners-up medal from the 2008 European Championships to show for his international career, and is fourth in the all-time list of caps for Germany, behind current teammate Lukas Podolski, who's got 116 caps, and Miroslav Klose, he's got 137 caps, and his Bayern teammate Bastian Schweinsteiger would now seem the likeliest contender to succeed him as skipper of the national side, though no indication has yet been given as to who manager Joachim Löw has in mind. And new manager, he says what? He's coached the, Barcelona, he's coached Bayern Munich, he's coached the Netherlands team, and he was once the assistant coach of AZ Alkmaar in Holland. And, he's one fine gentleman. I'm sure you watched him at the World Cup. He led the Netherlands team to that third-place success in Brazil. So a great coach by all standards, and I hope this time he will be able to restore the pride for Manchester United. Last season they finished 7th, a team that in the previous season won the EPL, finishing 7th, taking the place of Liverpool, who were 2nd this season. Well, we hope to see what Louis van Gaal is bringing on board for Manchester United fans, but for me I think it's good news for Manchester to get a coach or a manager of his caliber. That's it for sports. Thanks for your company. My name is Benedict Owusu. The news continues with Kemini.
Thank you very much for staying on here on News Today. Now, the dummy market here in Accra is reeling under serious deterioration. The market, which hosts about 10,000 traders, has no laid-out roads and drainage system. The situation has been worsened by continuous rainfall recently. Joy News' Justice Bedu has been there to speak with some of the traders who are angry about the continued neglect.
It's another day here at the Dummy Market. This is one of the largest trading points in the capital city, serving over 100,000 people. But the conditions here are appalling.
Any yaba be yamugani yamam, any yaba be yese yamam, no abeka no mabada, any atu abanamo, no aquatina, so long I free in one woman will enjoy. Na yansu yati atechem. And so, Obia Mohammed told the Emma, Sessia Frika Musi, a small girl, Okitaka, semi frabro, dear Raman, me friend Kruma, because of a higher Tachama, Yaji, Yaji Atas, Yaji Baye, and Tisika Mujino, down on the
The women whose source of livelihood come from here are calling for action.
Yes, no man penny, one we are mob. About Anquan, a good dummy market here. So we rank Muha, dummy market, Ekuta, Wamai Pa, Adriane, Bibi, Biwahase. Now we are some Kuala school, so Waha, and Kuala Intimin school. Yentimin to one dear, Dwaba Betodiania, Aquadia, a form water, the idea in Itabian or Babaha, Ababatodia, and Tia Serano, your book to Japan a chow. Oh, my Yasamaya can you.
Our attempts to reach the Ga East Municipal Assembly, under whose jurisdiction this market falls, has proved futile as officials turned down our request for an interview.
It's purely high life. The song is called Vamijo.
Oh, that's an Ewe word.
Yeah. Let's go.
Are you an Ewe? No, Samini is not an Ewe.
Yeah. But you know, we are one people, and so we always want to learn something from each other. And I find the word Vamijo meaning "come, let's go," and we are recording a love song called Vamijo. We're saying the beautiful ladies should come and let's go. We're going to finalize it today. What it is, we want to do the video ASAP as quickly as we can and put it out.
Log on to My Joy Online for some more news. That'll be all from me for now. My name is Kimini Nyamani Amano. Have a great weekend.